Hey everyone, this video is just gonna be, a project I did for one of my classes, and it's, a Lego stop motion, and, it was supposed to be presented, but it never was, so, I hope you guys enjoy it. Hello everyone, my name is Matthew, and today I will be presenting the Yellow Power Movement. The Yellow Power Movement, or Asian American movement, came to be during the 60s, and was inspired by the famous civil rights movement and the actions of black activists. Similarly to African Americans, Asian Americans had to go through awful hardships in America, such as the Japanese internment camps, as we learn of in They Called Us Enemy, the Chinese Exclusion Act, stereotyping, and racial discrimination that continues to the present day. The main goals of this movement were for the teaching of Asian history and discrimination throughout the history of the United States to be instituted, and justice for the irrational acts put into place for Asian Americans in the past. This movement was largely student-based and student-driven, and took place on many college campuses, involving strikes from large bodies of students. These strikes were all peaceful as well, to avoid police encounter and arrest. This is Yuji Ichioka. He is credited with popularizing the term Asian American. Ichioka co-created the Asian American Political Alliance alongside his partner Emma G in 1968. They were both considered leaders of the Yellow Power movement as well. The term Asian American started catching on and was being used all around the country due to additions to the AAPA and more Pan-Asian organizations. Nowadays, the term is very important when it comes to racial identity, and I know that many of us identify as Asian American, myself included. One of this movement's greatest triumphs was at San Francisco State University, where many students were participating in a strike. These strikes were known as the Third World Liberation Front strikes, and happened from 1968 through 1969. These strikes are the longest student-led strikes in U.S. history. The students were demanding for the development of programs relating to ethnic studies. It was a success, and in the present day, San Francisco State now offers more than 175 courses involving ethnic studies. By the time the Vietnam War ended, which was around 1975, most Asian American groups had broken up, and the movement had dissolved for the most part, though Japanese Americans called for justice for their internment during World War II. In 1976, President Gerald Ford declared the internment to be a national mistake. In 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed the Civil Liberties Act of 1988, which repaid surviving victims of the internment, or their heirs, a sum of $20,000, and included apology from the federal government. This movement, along with many others, allowed for ethnic studies classes to exist, and to be majors in many colleges across the country. Justice was served, and many wounds left from the Japanese internment camps have been healed for the most part. While discrimination and hate crimes on Asian communities continue to this day, the Yellow Power movement created an opening for Asian Americans across the country to share their voice, culture, hardships, and heritage. That's about it, and I just hope you enjoyed.